What is up, World Wrestling Vlog family? Great to have y'all in. And, after watching some live streams this weekend, while I'm trying to watch college football, I went, dadgum, I may have secured the best time slot on Saturdays. So the great bidding war, not of 2024 like MJF would say, but if anybody wants this time slot, hey, come on now, throw me a number. No, but seriously, appreciate you guys being here. It's a lot of college football going on. Florida's still busy playing Kentucky. Last I saw, they're about 7 down there.
Yeah, there's a minute left in the fourth quarter. Kentucky put in a field goal already.
It's been a crazy day. I did not see Texas A&M fall into App State, but that App State bunch is tough, buddy.
Yeah, I thought Alabama looked like they was going to lose to Texas there for a minute.
Yeah.
They probably would have if Quinn Ewers wouldn't have went down and if the refs wouldn't have been on Alabama's side through the whole game.
Yeah. Of course, the HBTFD. Yeah, baby.
Dogs come out on top, of course.
Dogs don't stop. Dogs don't stop. Hey, this ain't no football channel. It's a wrestling channel, right? So we're gonna get down to business with some wrestling, but we're gonna take care of a little admin first, and let's see who all we have in the chat. And I'm so rude. We have a special guest on hand, and I'm not even. It's Lovey, Mike Lovelace from Lovey's Fat Life.
I would not say that's special at all.
Well,
thank you.
That adjective can be used, or actually that pronoun could be used a number of different ways.
Yeah, Anthony uses it in a different manner. So,
but yeah, I mean, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. I need to make a quick edit before I throw this next thing up there, because you want to keep home team happy at all times, and I'm going to make sure that I do that. Speaking of which, Lovey has had a busy day today, and he just got off of a love and marriage show about 3 hours ago or so. And how are things at the homestead, buddy?
Well, luckily, I have not seen my wife for the last 2.5 hours. So,
is that a good or a bad thing, brother?
We didn't finish in last, and we didn't finish in first. So it was just right, fit right in the middle, right? So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. We were really nervous about that, but Chet and Robin did a great job. The questions didn't get too far over to the R and NC-17 rating, so it was all good.
Yeah, they do a good job. I really enjoy watching their content, and as you and I, we've had conversations. I've had conversations with Miss Meg, Mr. Paul. We really enjoy authenticity, and those are a couple of authentic people.
Yeah,
and
I like them.
Yeah, they're good folks. Good folks. All right, so let me get in this chat here right quick. We got Meg's Fun Time, Super Mod, and lover of all things Paul, Miss Meg, in the house. Miss Ashley Ratliff, howdy, how are you? One of the biggest wrestling fans that you'll ever find. Her and her significant other, her husband Jim, they are fantastic wrestling fans. Got Rob in the house, cruising on the high seas. Welcome in, Rob. Good to see you. Let's see. The best valet of all time, the most beautiful valet, my wife, Miss Chastity, who was recently made a mod. She has been given a blue wrench in the World Wrestling Blog. So with that, I just want to throw up our mods there. We want to thank our mods, Miss Meg, Blaine, Kenny, Chastity, and Danny. We appreciate y'all and everything y'all do. Probably won't see Danny in the chat. And I know Kenny, he had dinner on the grounds today, so we're probably not going to see him either. But Danny, during football season, him and his son, they do their live reactions to football games. That's Poxy Rain and Griswold Family Vacay. They run dueling streams on Saturdays and Sundays. So go over there and check them out.
Do a great job.
They sure do. I tell you, Mr. Adric, he has a future in communications of one way or another, one shape or form. He really blew me away. Not that he does a bad job, because he does a great job at everything that he does. But when he did the draft, the NFL draft, his coverage of the draft was better than anything that was on TV. He did a great job. Yeah. I'm putting you to work, baby. I'm sorry. I know she's up. She watches this from the tub. Every time we do this, she goes up and she takes a bath. So she's up there moderating from the tub. I know it's a rough life, baby, but somebody has to do it. Mm-hmm. Dylan's over there like, good Lord, Daddy, why'd you say that? Mm. I love embarrassing Dylan.
It don't work as good as it used to, though. I'm used to it after 22 years of it.
So, hey, a lot of stuff going on this week in the world of wrestling. But, I thought we were going to talk a whole lot more about Clash at the Castle, but nothing. I mean, there was some good wrestling on Clash at the Castle, but there really wasn't a whole lot to write home about other than it was, the Vaulter or Gunther, whoever you choose to call him. I still like to call him Gunther. Probably match of the night for me was Sheamus and Gunther. I really enjoyed that. One thing that was kind of cool, and Mr. Paul, you may or may not know this. What used to be known as bookers, so the creative team now, they have like a handler that handles each match, and they have a team of these guys. So the guy who was the manager for that match, you'll never
get an agent.
What's that?
They call them agents.
They used to call them agents, and they used to have book, but now these guys, they do the combination of agent, booker, talent relations, and they manage a match, and they call them match managers. But the match manager for that match was Abyss. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I always liked Abyss.
It was a good match. The Seth Rollins match was decent too.
I'll tell you, when can we stop doing 6 lady matches? I mean, it's nothing against the women. I mean, really, there are some fantastic lady wrestlers now. I mean, I've seen some good ones, but they have a hard time. And this is a new term for modern wrestling, keeping up the work rate required for a 6 lady trios match.
Yeah.
And maybe at some point there may be enough talent to do it, but right now there's just not. And if that 6 lady match that they had, there was a whole lot of blown upness and not being able to compete and a lot of downtime. The wrestling that happened was good. They just had a whole lot of breaks in between.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I saw you wince there.
Well, it seems like all the 6-way matches are like that. At some point, 4 of them are going to be outside, laid out on the floor, and 2 of them will be in the ring for 3 or 4 minutes. I guess the other ones need a breather or something. I don't know. But
very rarely do you see a 90-second break where all of them are in the ring, blown up and gassed.
No, sir.
That drives me nuts, and I saw that, but. Did you see that match, Lovey? Because I saw you kind of wince when I brought that up.
Well, I was thinking about, the rumor. I don't know if y'all have heard the rumor about Tessa Blanchard coming back, and I'm just wondering which organization is going to give her another shot. I mean, I'm a big fan of hers. I know I think she said some things that were definitely, if she really said them, are bad. But I think I was telling you earlier, she came through the school of George South here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's Tully Blanchard's daughter, and she's got a ton of talent. And she went to Mexico, stayed for a while, and now she's trying to make a comeback. I watched a match with her in Texas. I can't remember the name of that organization down there, but she did awesome in it. Huh?
Booker T's promotion, is that where she's at?
Maybe it's called, is it Hurricane Wrestling or something?
Booker T's is Reality of Wrestling.
Really? I thought this one was called Hurricane Wrestling, but I may be totally wrong. But she did an awesome job, and she's just got so much talent. I hate that somebody's not going to give her another chance because she's only, I think, in her mid-20s, late 20s.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, they need that talent. And a lot of times the women they have, they're complaining they're not getting enough TV time, so they do a 6-woman match so that they all can get on there at one time, and then just kind of, when you got some other ones with maybe a little bit more talent, they need to bring back, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of Mildred Burks or Moolah's running around.
Right.
Yeah, but she definitely fits that bill, and I would selfishly like to see her go to WWE for one reason only, and that is for Rhea Ripley. They would put on a heck of a show. And you've got what is that, Zelina Vasquez or whatever the big girl's name? You know, she's green, but you bring her in and you let Tessa squash her for a few weeks, and then you build up to that Rhea Ripley match. I think it'd be something good. And now they got that tag thing going, so you know, imagine Rhea and Tessa together. Boy, that'd be. I would watch that. That would sell tickets. Hey, Dylan, you know Pawpaw Terry's dog, Tessa.
Yeah.
He named her after Tessa Blanchard. So.
Oh, really? I didn't know
that. Yeah, he's a big fan of her in Impact.
Yeah.
Well, she was the overall champion in Impact, wasn't she? Not just women's champion.
She was the level of talent for the top guys in that organization.
Oh,
I mean, they have some good ones. Like I like
she was too rough.
What's that?
Some people said she was too rough. Then she got in trouble with supposedly some slurs that came out. But even George South said that. I'm a big George South fan. Hopefully down the road we talk about him a little bit. But he said that some of the guys working with him even said that they wouldn't come out and say it because they didn't want to be embarrassed to say it. But she was so rough with them that that she's kind of got that name that she's kind of rough on the other ladies too. But
she's a stout girl. She's put together. I mean, she ain't no diva.
No. Whatever happened to ODB? I'm getting off on a rabbit trail here, but ODB was one that could get rough with them too. She was pretty stiff. Maybe they need to put Tessa. That's what they need to do with old freaking. I'll put you out of the business because I'm going to injure you. The native beast, Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose. Oh.
Man, she's hurt so many wrestlers.
Hell.
It's live. I don't think she could hurt Tessa though.
I'm gonna go out and come back in because I think something's going on with my video. It happened earlier tonight. If that's all right.
Sure, go ahead. All right. So anyway, we didn't have a whole lot to talk about with regard to Clash at the Castle. However, this was big time.
Yep.
And I don't know. I hope a lot of this was a work. I think there was some work in it, but this is the thing when your work, borderlines or straddles that line of shoot and truth, good stuff happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the All Out media scrum and what CM Punk said. But,
I did.
It goes back to the days of guys like Harley Race in the locker room, Stan Hansen's, you name it. The list goes on and on of the guys who learned from the foundation of the business. CM Punk, the words he said about the youth in the back, there's a lot of talent, but they don't want to listen. I mean, you could tell that was coming from a real place. Yeah. And that, you follow that up with dadgummit, on Rampage, the match that Hangman and Bryan Danielson. And he would not shake his hand. And I was like, there's some shoot to that. That's not all work, because I know that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk are kindred spirits, but
I'm not sure what's work and what's not. I mean, I know that they stripped the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and CM Punk their titles, and they're suspended. But I don't know. It's hard to tell. Supposedly they got into it in the back, and I guess CM Punk got a hold of one of the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
and
so
pretty good.
Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com lists the suspensions as Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Brendan Cutler, which they could have fired. That would have been okay.
Yeah.
Pat Buck, Michael Knock It Off. They could have fired him. Christopher Daniels, outstanding wrestler and coach.
Yeah,
Christopher Daniels?
Yep.
Yeah, he's in AEW.
And also CM Punk and Ace Steel. So
He
Ace
has been
Steel,
misused his whole career. Sorry.
yeah, Ace Steel apparently he hardwayed somebody with a he hardwayed somebody with a chair.
Apparently he bit somebody too.
Oh God.
Yeah.
He bit Kenny, didn't he? I think
I
he
believe
bit.
I think he bit
Omega.
Kenny Omega. Yeah.
That's awesome. Somebody needs to bite him. Freaking Twinkle Toes McFingerbang.
Yeah.
Lord, I apologize. I ought not to talk like that. Be with the starving pygmies in New Guinea. Amen. But anyway, I'm not a big I used to, and Dylan can attest to, I used to love Omega.
Yeah.
Back when all I got were small doses of him. But when I have to
From
see him every
Japan.
week, I'm not a fan of Twinkle Toes. Not a fan.
No, he ain't all that. From what I've
No,
seen
I
from him
mean,
in AEW, he ain't what people made him out to be.
you put him in WWE, he's mid card.
Yeah.
And he don't get, you don't put him above Dolph Ziggler. No way.
No.
Yeah,
He has some really good stuff in Japan, though.
Yeah,
it's a different style too.
Well, and you didn't see it every week. You
Exactly.
saw what New Japan showed you, right? And
Yes, sir.
You know, I don't see he doesn't tell a very good story. I mean, it's the same. Now I will give him this: the last two matches he's had on AEW, he has done a pretty good job telling a story. But before that, in his previous reign, not so much. You know, and that's something that's not talked about a whole lot anymore is storytelling in the business. But you know, before all that chaos broke loose, you had the Young Bucks or the Elite as the trios champions, which everybody kind of saw that coming because how are you gonna put the Dork Order over? You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then you know we had Punk going and winning, and that I'll tell you what, I'm not a John Moxley fan, but I'm beginning to enjoy him a little more. That was a heck of a match.
Yeah.
I didn't rent that. I watched it on YouTube from somebody recording it from their cell phone.
Yeah.
Right after it happened, and I thought it was a good match. I mean, I've not been a big John Moxley fan. To me, in my opinion, this is just my humble opinion. I think they're trying to make him like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, even the way he walks and kind of carries himself. I just don't see him there yet.
Yeah.
You know, Stone Cold was a lot bigger. His whole character I thought was just great. But I'm hearing behind the scenes again, like you said. I don't know if if this is just a big work, and it's if it is, it's one of the best ones that's been done in a while.
Yeah.
But they say that Chris Jericho and Moxley are, and I can't remember who the other one was, are the ones that kind of have rallied the troops since the others are not there, and had a couple talkings with everybody and said, hey, this is do or die right now for us. And I think it only helps Moxley out. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Chris Jericho, but I kind of like Chris Jericho. He's one of those and get on your nerves too, but it just shows you how long he's been around and his age, and he's out trying to work with the younger. I'm not a big fan of. I actually started watching. Anthony likes AEW wrestling, and I think he likes it because they're smaller guys, and it's a little bit faster action overall with the the Young Bucks and some of the Sammy in there, and some, they're real athletic, not so big as the WWE guys are. But my son loves it, and I'm not a big fan of the whole EVP thing. I'm kind of on the Jim Cornette side on that. I think you're better off. Everybody needs to know their place, and it should be in the ring. And Khan, I think I said this on your Facebook page, and somebody told me he actually offered him this originally, and he turned it down. But they need somebody like a Jim Cornette to come in there and just clean house and, in my opinion, start all over, make it old school like the old WCW, NWA, and
so the reason he turned it down was because Jim wanted to do the booking, but Tony wanted to be the matchmaker. He wanted to do and Jim was like, there's no way, I'm not going to come in and just be an authority figure and not be able to manage these matches.
He also wanted the, my understanding, I may be totally wrong on this, was I'd heard that Khan was pretty decisive that he wanted to have the EVPs as well.
Yeah.
And I can see Cornette saying, nah, because he even before that, he'd already kind of talked smack on them.
Yeah.
And especially Omega too.
Sorry. The problem with that is any four of us know enough about wrestling. I think any four of us could book a good card somewhere. I know I could, one. But here's the problem. Being able to book the follow-ups that come after it.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, any of us could book a one-night card. That's easy. But like Mike was talking about earlier, the storylines, building a storyline up to a championship match and building that story for what used to be 2-3 months and keep people interested. That's where being a real booker, which I don't think they have any anymore. That's why we got what we got every week. So,
well, they got Sanjay does come from the Jim Cornette school of how to book matches, and he's part of the creative team there now, and I think that's helping. And I'll tell you, I actually think that these guys getting suspended may have been a good thing, because the last two shows I've watched, Dynamite and AEW, or Dynamite and Rampage. Dylan, did you say something, bud?
I was saying they've been good.
Oh yeah, they have. I mean, they had a touch of sports entertainment to them, but it's just a touch, just enough. And I thought they were fantastic. It's going to force Tony Khan to use his guys like Samoa Joe and Jay Lethal more, which I think is a good thing. I mean, those guys, and even Tony Nese, he's become a glorified jobber, but he's a good worker.
He is.
So I think it's a good thing.
He wins quite a bit on dark.
Yeah. I wish they would. Of course, I don't think they can pitch it to Turner yet, or not Turner. It's Warner now, I guess. But they can't really pitch to get more time on that second show when their ratings are not good enough. But if they keep doing like they did this past week, I believe they may. If they could just get 30 more minutes, maybe would be good. But yeah, they had some good matches on that show. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the other big news, and I'm a huge mark for this guy, MJF is back.
Yeah, I was extremely excited to see that.
Best in the business right now. Best in the business.
I've heard, though, that he hasn't, and this may be something I missed. I saw it on 2 different podcasts, and I don't know why he would not, and they still let him speak, but I've heard he hasn't signed a contract. But he's coming back.
He's an extension.
Yeah, contract's expiring.
Tony,
and he said that he's not going to sign. He's not going to re-sign with AEW, which could be a work, but he said he won't. And like, he even came out on Dynamite and he's like said something about I'm going to take this belt to a real wrestling company. And he said, to quote the game, he's like, what
you going to NWA? WWE, never mind.
I mean, it's that thing, that blurring those lines between what's kayfabe and what's a shoot, and he does a great job of it.
Yeah,
and that whole thing, man. I mean, and
his whole
has to be
in on was great.
Well, Tony has to be in on the whole voicemail that was left.
Yeah,
for that to have been put on TV.
Yeah,
that was a great touch for that whole thing, because
it was.
Everybody, we've been missing our boy MJF. I mean, the dude, there's no promo like MJF right now. And then he does that little phone call, and I hope that they're going to do some, I hate to say NWO, but NWO-like work with this faction they have around MJF. The problem I had with the Pinnacle,
that could be good.
The faction was too weak. This faction looks like it might be strong. I like it.
They got the Gun Club in there, which I like the Gun Club pretty good. They're good. I think it'll be good if they actually stick with it. But
I like Moriarty as a heel. He's not as corny as a heel.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, a close. I believe that. Shoot, I can never remember his name. The manager that he has.
Yeah.
Stokely
Hathaway.
He's a good promo too. I mean,
Yeah.
he could be the next coming of a Paul Heyman. He's
Yeah,
pretty good.
I didn't see it with the build up with him going around collecting people, giving them his business cards and everything.
Yeah.
I didn't see that's where that was going.
No.
I did at the casino ladder match when they came out and he took down the chip.
That was an awesome swerve. I like that.
The Joker coming out and getting it and everything. I had a feeling that was probably MJF. And then
it felt like, Paul, and you may remember this, it felt like the aces and eights of Impact Wrestling.
That was some good stuff to a point, to an extent.
That's kind of how it felt, was like aces and eights. And, Bubba Ray's out there playing around. I mean, I think he goes on NWA a little bit. But,
he needs to be helping somebody somewhere. He's got a great mind for the business. He don't necessarily have to be an on-screen guy, but he needs to be behind the scenes somewhere, which he does with NWA. So
he's good on commentary. Kick Shivani off of the commentator's desk or sock face and put him back there.
He's also good on the radio too.
But he's terrible behind the desk.
He is.
It's Sting!
Yeah.
Good job, Shivani. Go make me a cappuccino, dude.
Well, he was originally a baseball announcer, I do believe.
Yeah. I mean, he's done good work. You look back in the day, the days of Gordon Soley, and they had Tony Schiavone in the back, and he's fine, doing that kind of stuff, but he's not good on color. Not good at all.
It was great when he was second in Jim Ross, though. Just saying, of course, I'd have been good doing color for Jim Ross, though. I mean, come on.
Howdy, Timmy Ray. Hope you had a good night at the racetrack, Timmy. All right, so there's that.
Hey, Timmy.
And, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes, and then on the following AEW Dynamite. So a couple of things, right? So they stripped the belts from these guys, but what nobody knew, we don't know how injured. I don't remember if it was Matt or Nick that got hit with the chair. So they said that they still probably should have went to jail for that. And then CM Punk actually, when he hit his elbow during the match, if you were watching, he tore his tricep. So he's back having surgery again.
They said he's out 8 months.
Yeah. Which, again, I think it could be a good thing.
I liked CM Punk a lot back when he was when WWE, and I was upset when he left. And I was excited to see that he was in AEW, but I don't know. Now,
he could have been the cause of the negative feelings in the back,
I think it may have been because he comes in, they treat him like a king,
but old crybaby Millennial Cowboy had something to do with it too.
Yeah, I mean he did put on a good match with Bryan Danielson, but not a huge fan of Cowboy.
I thought I was. I mean, I went to Norfolk after he won the belt, and I was right there with everybody screaming at the top of my lungs, saying Cowboy, bovine scatology over and over again. But then it just went nosedive from there. I mean, he was not a good champion. Not good at all.
He really wasn't.
So can you take a quick poll here? Do you think the whole AEW thing, do you think it's all just a big farce and a show, or do you think it's the real deal? What if each one of us had to say, okay, yay or nay, and there may be a half in the middle there on it, what do y'all really think about that? You think it's the real? Do you think it's really
the media scrum and what happened behind the scenes and everything with the brawl? Yeah. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
So here's the raw deal on it is who he was talking about. Sean Colton. That's Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
There's real heat between Colt Cabana and CM Punk.
Yeah, Colt Cabana's suing CM Punk
with WWE. The elite, to include the Millennial Cowboy, love Colt Cabana.
Yeah. I don't know why.
That's what started the whole thing. So and then the promo that the Cowboy cut, I believe, pushed CM Punk over the edge. But I do think there's an element of work here. and it may have been coming because they pivoted awful fast and awful smooth. If you watch, and the fact that nobody's been fired, they've just been suspended.
And also, it's a big
kind of key to think about too.
There's been a lot of talk of Tony Khan, not knowing really what he's doing, that he don't have control over his company, and that the EVPs run his company and everything. And so, with him stepping in, stripping their belts, suspending them, and everything, everybody's been saying, good on Tony Khan to take control of his company. Good Tony Khan, remind everybody that he's in charge. And I think that's what they wanted. And so
it's given an opportunity to Moxley, who we talked about earlier, and Jericho too, to publicly be a leader. And I think that's good. I think that's a good thing.
I think it was planned as a work, and I think they might have spiraled out of control a little bit, but I don't know.
And Tony will let them, Tony's been known to let guys kind of write their own script as they go.
Yeah.
But Paul, you can testify to this. I mean, the guys back in the day, they were given bullet points and said, "Hey, go cut a promo."
Yep.
They did.
That's what the Cowboy told him in Mid-South. This is what I want. Go do it.
Yeah.
I don't care how you get us there. Just get us there.
Yep. I want you to get here.
Yeah. I don't understand. I mean, does Tony Khan need to be running the business? Wrestling there's nothing else like it. I mean, if I had $1 quadrillion and had 20 Fortune 500 companies, don't mean I need to be running a wrestling company. I may need to finance one.
Just write the check.
But I think he wants to be.
There you go, Mike. Exactly, Mike. I need to write the check, get out of the way, get people in place that need to run the company.
He wants to be like Vince McMahon. He wants to be like Attitude Era Vince McMahon. He wants to be out there.
That's past.
No, he actually wants. He's been quoted as saying that he wants to be like Bischoff. So he loved WWE or WCW Nitro, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, but he don't know how to get there. But he's had Arn and Tully, and he's got guys there that know how to get him there.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Well,
you got a lot of people
bit
how
of
to swallow
on his
all their
part,
pride. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, is that a little bit of arrogance on his part then, that he's not willing to turn it over? And
I don't know. I think he's just a wrestling fan, and he just wants to be a part of all of it.
So was Ted Turner. Cornette hits it on the head when he says that this company is like his little playthings. It's like, Dylan, when you had your wrestling ring and you were, this is Tony with real life wrestling figures.
I mean, it pretty much is.
Yeah.
What's the guys I saw a couple of weeks ago, maybe in last week? The guy, I mean, I think I made a comment on it, Josh, and you kind of laughed about it or kind of came back the same. But the tag team that was like hugging each other in the middle of the ring, and then you got
the best California
kid out there with his hands in his pocket fighting and stuff. I mean, that's worse than anything I've ever seen back in the back.
Yep. So here's my problem with Moxley. Moxley, he holds another belt in GCW, and about 3 weeks ago, he won a match. You know how he won the match? You'll never guess. Not by razor blading the guy, not by driving him through, thumbtacks and all of this garbage deathmatch stuff they do over there at GCW. He planted a big French kiss on the guy and then pinned him.
Oh,
and this is your blood and guts Moxley that's supposed to be leading this company.
Yeah, when I saw those two guys hug in the middle of the ring, I had to cut it off. And I didn't watch it for a couple of weeks until I like the buildup of the CM Punk and Moxley, because, I mean, for Moxley just to lay down, Punk to lay down like that and let Moxley come in there and destroy him in 3 or 4 minutes, I was kind of shocked. I knew you knew it was a lead up to him winning it back.
Yeah,
but I actually lost a lot of respect for the AEW that night, and I was like, I'm not watching this ever again. Of course,
that best friend.
Of course, I watched the CM Punk and Moxley fight, and then it got me kind of back. I was like, and I like Danielson. I I think this whole tournament, and I may be totally wrong on it, I think it's a way for him maybe to get the belt.
I think so too. I
'cause
think they'll end up. I don't know. The AEW does some really good stuff, and they do some really bad stuff. So you never know how it's going to go. Right now, I like AEW more than I like WWE. I just think they have better wrestling in general. But I'd like to see Danielson end up winning this tournament, but he probably won't. It'll probably end up being either Jericho or
If they put it on Sammy Guevara, I'm done.
They're not going to put it on Sammy Guevara. Ain't no way.
I hope not. But I mean, you know, I don't know the whole buildup, and I don't know the guy that Moxley was wrestling in GCW, and it's not a homophobic thing. It's just you just don't do that, you know.
No, I mean, it just to me made a mockery of
that. Don't be in my wrestling ring.
Yeah, I mean that's like the wrestling the Invisible Man, and you know Kenny Omega has wrestled blow up dolls, you know, and Jim Cornette is like, look, when you do that stuff, you're done because you mock the business. And 30 years ago, if you did that crap, you would have wound up waking up in a ditch somewhere, and it would have never worked again. Imagine doing that in Bill Watts' ring. What would Bill Watts do?
Bill Watts himself would have come down there and beat the tar out of you.
He would have. So, you know, it's just – but there's something to be said. A lot is said that goes unsaid, and you hit on it, Lovey. And for a guy like CM Punk to do a job – for Moxley, that tells me something. I mean, he sees something.
It tells me that it's not so bad behind the scenes as much as they're trying to make it sound like. In my opinion,
EVPs too. I think Tony has saw because you watch in the last 3 media scrums they've had, it's been highlighted around CM Punk, and I think Tony has seen that his little EVPs are a problem, and hopefully that's what's going on. I mean. AEW will do just fine if the elite are not there.
Yeah, but do you think they? I mean, do you think they would just walk away? I don't know how. I mean, contractually, I don't know what they're signed through, but
I'm not sure. But I know they could go right back to New Japan.
Well, I saw on Twitter today that they had put out feelers to WWE already. The Young Bucks.
I don't think
I've never gotten him. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, I was excited to see they were in AEW because I liked the Young Bucks, but
their matches are the same every time.
Yeah, and then start watching them. I don't know.
Every
once in a blue moon, they'll have a really, really good match, and you'll be like, "Wow, that was good." But then they'll follow it up with the same thing, just super kick party and
Trampoline Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the way they buried FTR did it for me. You know, there's nobody better in the business right now than FTR.
No, sir.
And they will not let them get those straps around their waist.
Yeah, boy, it's because they've been. Yeah, and that's the Young Bucks, and it's not. That's all the EVPs because they were upset about them getting the Ring of Honor. They said they got too many straps already, and they don't need any more.
Yeah.
FTR should be like the Legion of Doom and the Dudley Boys when it comes to tag team belts. They should have held the straps for every promotion pretty much on the globe. They're that good. They really are.
They're about halfway there.
And even as singles, I don't know if you watched Dynamite, but the singles match that Dax Harwood and Claudio Castagnoli had
on Rampage,
another fantastic work. I mean that was a fantastic piece of business right there.
I haven't seen Rampage yet, but
oh, sorry.
Can I answer a question real quick?
You can answer all the questions you want to, Sir Paul.
Mr. Timmy Ray the King, all of the members that I know of the Midnight Express are still alive except for beautiful Bobby Eaton. Unfortunately, he has passed away.
Yep. Probably the best pure wrestler of the whole bunch.
Yes, sir.
They were all good, but
yeah, that was a back in the day. Them and the Rock and Roll Express was man.
Yeah, me and Pawpaw. So I had when I had Kenny on doing the OBC thing, and Pawpaw kept wanting to talk wrestling. Mm-hmm. We stayed on for about 30 minutes after that, and Pawpaw was just, I mean, talking about wrestlers from way back that I'd never even heard of, you know, that he had seen out there in Eastern Tennessee. But Speak of the devil, and he pokes his head in. The one, the only, the Ford man, also known as Kenneth Oates. Welcome in, friend. Good to see you, buddy. I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're doing good.
Mike, you grew up over there in that mid-Atlantic area there, man. I don't get envious very often in life, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
30 miles from Greensboro, North Carolina, and I got a few stories there. My mom and dad, we've all, they met Ric Flair, and
Did you ever go to the Scope?
the Scope.
Yeah, that's in Norfolk, ain't it? The Coliseum at Norfolk, the Scope.
No.
It used to be
I
called
pretty
the
much
Scope,
stayed in
yeah.
North Carolina. It was Greensboro, Winston-Salem. But
Still a lot of great stuff there, though. Wow.
yeah, the
I mean-
local wrestling and stuff is just so. I was talking to somebody that, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but somebody that lived further north in North Carolina, and they were talking about when they grew up, the WWE was everything. Well, here in North
Oh,
Carolina,
bull butter.
we didn't even listen to WWE. I mean, I didn't even know nothing about them. It was always NWA, WCW. I was born in 71, and probably about 75, 76 is when I got into wrestling. And remember my dad putting the figure 4 on me in the middle of the living room, and
Leg scissors.
yeah,
Always got put in the leg.
70s and 80s, man. And just Ric Flair. I mean that whole time period, I'd really miss it. And I still like going to some of these local wrestling. Some of these guys still show up. Bobby and Ricky, Rock and Roll Express, they still show up and still sign autographs, and still people are lined up, 50 deep trying to get the autograph with them, picture with them. I think Ric Flair made a comment not long ago on a podcast that back when he was in his prime, that probably Ricky Morton is probably the only one that pulled more women than he did, or close to the many women he did. When they used to come in to the Greensboro Coliseum, which was one of the bigger coliseums other than Charlotte, North Carolina, man, the crowd was just deafening.
Yeah.
And them and Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valent, everybody loved him.
Boy from New York City.
Yep. I mean, it was just electrifying.
Yeah, they were doing. I mean, Jim Cornette's talked about how if all the other promoters could have got their collective stuff together, if Crockett could have pulled them all together, there's no way that Vince could have done what he did.
No, sir.
And we'd still have professional wrestling today.
But see, I was telling somebody, I know people try to keep kayfabe, and that was the real deal. I mean, when you saw Harley Race and Abdullah the Butcher and Wahoo McDaniel, and those guys were bleeding Dusty Rose. I think I said Dusty Rose. Those guys were bleeding Blackjack Mulligan and his scarred up head where he'd been busted up so many times. I mean, you would never see those guys hug each other in the middle of the ring. I'll tell you that right now. It would never happen.
Lovey,
they were
with all
talking
due
about
respect,
how when heels and faces would pass away, even if they were friends behind the scenes, the heels would not show up to the funeral. They would go through the back door, go pay their respects.
Was it Mr. Wrestler?
Number 2.
I think it was Mr. Was it Mr. Wrestler? One of those that wore a mask. I told you I love George South, but he was telling about how back in the days in the 80s, the early 80s and stuff, when he came in, I think in 82, either he came in 82 or Arn Anderson came in 83 or vice versa. They came in at the same time. But he said he would take a shower in the Coliseum with his mask still on.
Yeah.
That's
and he
number
would
2.
not take his mask off until he got in his car to go to the next town.
Mr. Wrestler, number 2.
How kayfabe was and how you kept it in and you didn't want nobody to know who you were.
Lovey, if I didn't love you for this show, I love you now. I finally got somebody likes old wrestling like me, man. Heck yeah. That's good stuff.
Speaking of wrestling that's not old and that has high work rate, Death Triangle wins the World's Trios Championship after it stripped off the Elite. Now, I have to be honest with you here. I do like me some Penta El Zero Miedo. I'm a fan of this guy. I've always loved Penta. Dylan can attest to that. First time I saw him in Lucha Underground, I like this guy. He reminds me of Vampiro a lot. And of course, he had a good match with Vampiro in Lucha Underground, which you saw a lot of good spots in that thing, but it was a mockery of the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm happy they put the titles on them.
I thought they were going to get it. I thought they were the perfect ones to get the belts all along anyway, because trios, that's more of a lucha kind of thing anyway.
Yeah. Pac's the first double champion in AEW now.
And man, I tell you what, I'm hot and cold with Pac. Pac will have 3/4 of a match that's like, holy crap, look at this guy. Technical, quick, short with everything, tight with everything. Then he goes and does something stupid, like taking 30 seconds to do a backflip off of the ropes, and it blows it all. But he has potential.
I like him pretty good, and I think he's definitely got potential to be one of the top guys in AEW.
I definitely like him better now than I did when he was in WWE.
Yeah, when he was Neville.
Neville, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't work as a babyface at all.
No.
But he is a bastard.
Yeah.
Pac. It's a pretty good gimmick. I like that gimmick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I won't stay too long on that because there's not a whole lot to talk about. I mean, we saw there's no way. The only thing that could have been worse than putting the Dork Order over as trios champions would have been putting Lovey's favorite, the Best Friends, over as the trios champions. That's another thing that would have drove me to never watch it again.
And again, that meant nothing about two guys hugging.
No,
it was more of it was so. It's
like the curtain call.
That drives me crazy. And then when I see guys in there that intentionally push themselves to be like they're not far enough in the middle of the ring, you see them looking back and pushing their legs back to get them in. Man, just go with what you got. I mean, it just looks so. I don't know. Maybe
somebody goes from the top rope to the outside. There's three people out there and they hold their arms out to catch them, like before they ever jump.
Yeah, I hate it.
And I love the luchador type wrestling, and I'm more of I like the big guys. I mean, because I'm a big guy, but that's one reason I think I like the WWE overall better now. But I like the luchador wrestling. I mean, like the Ric Flair's last match, I thought the luchador match was one of the best ones, and I thought the Pillman. I don't know where he's wrestling at now, if he's still independent or what, but Pillman, I think, has got a bright future, and I think he's got a good look. He's gained weight. He's gotten stronger. I think somebody needs to give him a shot. I mean,
Tony still has him under contract, but Tony has booked him so poorly.
He's been on that Varsity Blondes tag team.
He's further ahead of Anderson's son.
Oh, by far,
by far. He's gained the weight, and I don't know if he's doing things the right way or not, but he's put on a lot of muscle the last couple of years. Yeah. He's got that look with the long hair, and I just think somebody.
It's that tag team he's part of is what's holding him back.
Yeah, they let him go single for about 3 weeks against MJF, and it was pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
and then they put him back with freaking Giraffe Boy, and so here's a guy, and y'all know I've told y'all this before. I love shooters.
Yeah,
and this was a shoot match, man. So I mean, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, one's from the Northeast, one's from the Midwest. Great areas for scholastic wrestling and amateur wrestling. Both of these guys have backgrounds in amateur wrestling, and I love this gimmick. So the pure ROH belt, I love it because you only get one strike with the bald fist. Has the end in the ring. You only get three rope breaks. There's a time limit. And it's pure rules. I like it.
It goes to if time limit comes up, then there's judges that will decide a winner.
Yeah. This was a wrestling match. This was a professional wrestling match. From bell to bell. This was fantastic. Yeah. I enjoyed every bit of this match. If you didn't watch it, you need to go back and check it out because it was good.
He deserves that belt too.
He sure does. And I like the way they did it at the end, which I'm going to throw a third leader in that backstage into the mix, and that's Brian Danielson, because he came in, put the belt on him, and it felt not worked. If better way, easiest way of saying it, I guess. But yeah, he deserves it. I hated him doing the JAS stuff. Maybe this gets him out of that.
Yeah, I think he's on his way out.
Yeah.
That'd be best for him. I don't know if he's going to join the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know. He might end up joining that.
I don't know. I mean, how many damn factions do they need?
Yeah, they just keep making them.
But this is a guy who needs a belt. And this is the perfect one for him. So I'm happy for him. I think this is a good thing. This guy reminds me a lot of a more lean and lanky Dean Malenko.
Yeah.
And he has the intensity to go with it. All right, one more thing I want to share here that we can talk about before we move on to bigger and better. Let's see. I think that was it. Yeah. Okay. Let me pop this up here. And
what you doing? I want to bring up something about kayfabe. You were talking about Mr. Wrestling too. There was a masked. It's going to be a shocker. There was a masked wrestler in Mexico, El Santo. That guy was buried with his mask on.
Wow.
And he was a superstar on TV, everything back in the day before wrestling was, mainstream and all.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear some of the stories that like a Jim Cornette tells about the old days of wrestling. It's religion in Mexico. I think that's where you're going, Dylan. You can go ahead.
Yeah. No, it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for a lot of those guys, the only way out of some of that third world garbage they have to live in over there, you either go be you either go work the drug game or you get into
luchador.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff comes out of Mexico too. I like old Andrade El Idolo and Roosh. I like both of them.
I really like Roosh. I like Roosh a lot.
I like both of them. I like Roosh too, but I like both of them. I think they're good.
I like Josh. Was it Josh Anderson? Is that his name? He's the one that's come in with Tony Nese. He's not a luchador, obviously, but
it's not Josh Anderson. It's Josh something. That ain't Anderson.
Yeah, he's a shooter. He's a legit shooter. He won a national championship as an amateur.
Yeah.
But
Tony Nese, he's that bowed up guy, right? I mean, almost Luger-esque with the. Yeah, he was. I never could believe that he was 205 to wrestle as a cruiserweight. That guy's got to be 230 or 240 with all that muscle. But I mean,
same thing with Buddy Matthews.
Yeah,
that's a jack dude right there, man.
Yeah, Buddy Matthews, big boy.
And between him and Brody King, they are making Malachi Black look silly.
Yeah.
You ever seen Lovey there? You ever seen Lovey when he's not behind a desk? I finally saw some pictures of him on the Sunshine. The first thought that come to my mind, if you'd put long hair on him, I swore I'd been looking at Ted Arcidi from back in the day. I don't know if that's probably lost on everybody who Ted Arcidi is, except for probably Mike.
They had a wrestling school in Thomasville when I got out of high school. I was like, college, wrestling. I really was going to go to a wrestling school at that time. I was so into it. I mean, I don't realize I'm sure it was that way, in every state, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and even out Tennessee, Arkansas, and the whole Southeast. But, man, I mean, it was just everybody just loved it. I mean, I think it's still that way today. People my age, they still love it like that, but they also miss it because it's not the way it used to be.
It's not professional wrestling.
Times have changed, and I get all that, but
you made the best point of all, Mike, earlier about building a story.
Yeah, I was
I mean,
talking
they just
about
don't do it
earlier.
anymore.
Yeah, but George South, who I said I love because he comes to the local armories and high schools here and wrestles, and he's real religious guy now. He told some stories on that too, where he was told to turn his trunks inside out because he had religious verses on his trunks. But he was talking about back in the day, you built stories up. You know, nowadays everybody's into instant gratification. You got a title match every week. But back in the day, you would build these matches up in these high schools or these smaller armories or
Yes,
even the smaller
sir.
coliseums. So then every 2 or 3 months, maybe once a month, you'd have that big fight, you know.
Well,
And
you
that's when
said
you had,
before on this. You know, Hell in a Cell rolls around every year now, and it's like they got to find
Yeah.
people to put in. It used to be when two people wound up in a cage match, it's because that was the only way they were going to settle that feud was inside a cage. They
Yeah.
done everything else.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no. And then back in the day, people think about the barbed wire match and stuff. Man, that was popular in the, probably even back before the 70s. But man, in the 70s and 80s, they had those matches. I mean, those were some bloody matches. I mean, I remember Abdullah the Butcher taking I can't remember what he had. It was either a knife or a screwdriver or something to Wahoo McDaniel's head, and just that stuff. Me and my dad, I mean, it was a big thing because I think it came on a set time every Saturday or Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
Nothing else on
605.
TV. You were just there.
605. Yeah, a lot of people think that ECW was the first ones to bring that level of violence. They were the first ones to bring that level of stupidity.
Yeah,
I mean, at Mid-South, was it Mid-South? It's either Mid-South or
Mid-South has some
Mid-Atlantic
of
that
it.
started the scaffolds.
That was Mid-South, the Midnight and the Rock and Roll.
Yeah. And Jim Cornette blew both knees out.
Yep. But you need to check. Well, that was in NWA, Georgia, but because Bubba didn't catch him. But as the violence goes, check out the World Wrestling Council down in Puerto Rico.
Oh, yeah.
There's some bad stuff going down there.
So talking about stories, this is one thing that I think is good that AEW does quite a bit, actually, for a number of different things, is tournaments. I like the tournament format. I think it naturally builds a story as long as it's booked correctly. And so after Punk was stripped, we're now having a Grand Slam tournament of champions. I think we're probably looking at a showdown, most likely, between Danielson and whoever comes out of the bottom half of the bracket, which will probably be Moxley.
Yeah, that's what I think because Chris Jericho beat Danielson at All Out, which, it was a good match, but a little disappointed that Danielson didn't get the win on that. But anyways,
but they did it right. In their defense, they did it right. If the babyface is going to lose, he has to get screwed over, and they screwed him over.
Yep.
Yeah. So but I think he's going to get his revenge here. He already beat Hangman Page. I think he's going to beat Chris Jericho. And then Moxley, he'll run through the bottom half of the competition. Probably Darby Allin.
Look how they have this set up. They've got it set up where Moxley can do his, garbage deathmatch mud show stuff with Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that they'll probably have Darby Allin beat Sammy Guevara. That way they can have Darby and John Moxley just beat the crap out of each other and not do one hold or.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Was AEW, is it better or worse without Cody there?
I haven't seen it either way. So Cody, when he came out and he lost some steam with the fans when he came out and cut his, I represent the new America. I have an African-American wife and a mixed baby. I don't know if you remember that promo, but he cut that promo against Anthony Ogogo, who obviously is a black guy from the UK. So it was like, who is and why? So if you're going to do this, you're like one of the most entitled white dudes that's had everything given to you, and you're out here talking about, being held back and held down and oppression and all this stuff, and it just he never recovered from that. He never recovered for
Cody.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it was good for him to leave. Now, if they bring him back, it may be different, but I think it was good for him to leave and get a fresh coat of paint.
I mean, he's still.
But you want to bet while he was being oppressed and held back, he was making more money than all of us.
Well, that was the thing. He wasn't saying that he was, but he was trying to speak for other people, and it felt so phony. It wasn't the "I'm a son of a plumber," which I think that's what he was trying to get after. I think he was trying to, do the Dusty Rhodes promo and.
What's the Dusty's was genuine though?
Oh yeah. I mean, when has Cody Rhodes ever felt hard times?
Yeah.
Cody
Rhodes.
His mom
burn his pancakes. I mean, come on. Gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, but Cody is a heck of a worker. Probably one of the best in the business today. I hate that he's injured because he was putting on some good matches, and I was excited to see where Vince was going to take him. Now it's going to be interesting because, behind the scenes rumors is that Vince loved Cody, this new version of Cody.
He's a pretty tough dude, though, to finish that fight he did. Didn't he have a torn pec or something?
Yeah, his whole pec was as purple as your background.
I've been in powerlifting and stuff and seen people, blow a pec out benching or in a weightlifting contest, and
it ain't pretty.
Excruciating pain, and you see that thing roll up and move. To him to finish a match like that,
he come out the next night.
Impressive.
He came out again the next night, and let Rollins put heat on him. I mean, before he called it quits and started getting treatment. But a lot of people don't know about Cody. He's a 2-time state wrestling champion in the state of Georgia. So he's a legit shooter. He's a tough dude.
Yes, sir.
He is a tough dude. My father-in-law tells stories about when he wrestled. So he went to high school in Marietta, but they came up. The wrestling team out of Marietta came up to Northwest High School in Whitfield County, Georgia, and they packed that place out because Dustin and Dusty was there to watch Cody wrestle. So that was kind of a big deal. But they just sat up there, they said they signed autographs, took pictures and stuff like that, but they just acted like they were anybody else in the stands.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a good thing as long as Tony doesn't screw it up. There's always.
I think it will too, but it's also whoever it is just going to be a transitional champion for.
They can't put it on Jericho. They can't.
That's what I feel like they're going to end up doing.
Yeah.
I see it coming. Like there's potential with the tournament, but I see Jericho's in it, and I'm like.
I think if Jericho wins it, that it may tell you that maybe that stuff behind the scenes was true, real. Yeah. It was a little more real than fake because they want to put somebody that's been around that can rally the young guys together, and he's one of those. Him or Moxley would be, but that would be interesting with him and Moxley if him and Moxley ended up in that title fight.
They may end up doing that.
If you were trying to predict this, and if you do the so what is it, the betting organization that they do through AEW, if you wanted to bet on who wins this thing, the best way to look at it is who do you think is more willing to do a job for MJF, Jericho or Moxley?
I'd say Jericho.
Me too.
Moxley.
See, here's one thing I don't understand about AEW. Growing up watching the NWA, you could always tell the next guy in a way.
Yeah.
Be it because Magnum TA was going to be the next guy. Probably him, Wyndham, and David Von Erich. David Von Erich died. Wyndham didn't want it, I don't guess. Then Sting, you knew he was going to be the next guy. Who's the next guy in AEW? Who's that younger guy that's nipping at people's heels? I don't see him. I just don't.
It's MJF.
Yeah.
It's MJF.
You think so?
You can see it a mile away. They're pushing MJF to be that guy. And I do like that storyline with CM Punk and MJF having his picture taken with him with a kid, and but
I like MJF. I think MJF's got a lot of potential. I mean, he's probably, in my opinion, he's best heel in wrestling right now.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, but you hear a lot of stuff about how his personality outside of the ring is the same as what he puts on in the ring.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I can kind of see. It wouldn't surprise me if he really is like that. So he's got a lot of people that don't care for him, but you don't know what's work and what's not. But I could see him being a abrasive personality behind the scenes, and that may come back to bite him at some point. That might be what's holding him back. But
I just can't see those guys at the same. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just a generational gap with me. Like even back to The Rock or Cena, I can't see MJF. I mean, in the same vision as I see, or visually that I see, like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, or Cena, or
How
even
about,
those guys just only 20 years back.
how
I
about
just don't
Wardlow?
see. I mean, MJF's good on the mic, but I mean,
he's had, so unfortunately, and I think some of this goes to booking, and it speaks to the way that Tony likes to have a run in on everything. There's got to be an afterbirth, and there's got to be all these run ins and all this kind of stuff. If you go back and watch some MLW footage of MJF, and if you watch the matches in the CM Punk MJF feud, the guy can work. He's a good mat wrestler, and he can work. It's not just the mic skills.
He's a lot like Ric Flair, really. I mean, like
He is. He's like a combination of I don't know. So he's like Ric Flair in a way, but the way he dresses and the way he presents himself and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think he's, as far as his in-ring work technical skills, I think he's maybe over Flair, just in my opinion. But Flair, in his defense, didn't have to work that hard to get over. It's kind of like the King. The King, he could do 4 moves and his match would be over, and he would use those 4 moves in a way to tell a story, and it didn't matter. Which Punk's kind of the same way. When's the last time you've seen somebody get a body slam over? Punk gets a body slam over every time he's in the ring. People go nuts for a body slam.
Or a pile driver. But
yeah. It's all about how you use it. It's all about where the spot is at, how you use it. They get a bit. It's kind of like, this is obviously not meant to be a YouTube conversation, but Nick Nimmons kind of talking about today with my question. I was talking about premieres, and he's like, well, if you use premieres over and over and over again, you may get the same group of people coming to the premieres, but do you really want 10 or 15 people at the premiere, or do you want 1,500? You're never going to get that
15
number
if they're engaged.
Yeah, but you're never going to get those large numbers if you water it down. It's kind of like if you get juice every time in a match, and this is kind of where I'm going with this. And if everything is a big move, everything's a big spot, that stuff don't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
And how can you miss me if I never go away? That's something that Jim Cornette was talking about. And that may be what's
you got to
going on.
give people a chance to applaud.
Yeah. They never get a chance to breathe with this work rate stuff. And that's a big Meltzer thing. Work rate. Well, Weasel Dooley started that whole star rating system, and Weasel Dooley didn't have any work rate, was not something he ever tracked. I don't know if y'all are probably not familiar with work rate, Paul or Mike, but that's the amount of action going on in every minute of a match. It's a new metric that's used. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I miss the day, and I know I don't know, but you talking about finishers and all that. Back in the day, the Anderson brothers, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Gene and Ole, they'd work over your arm for 10 minutes, and then they would do a body slam with your arm behind your back.
Yeah.
Flair, work that leg the whole match to set you up for the figure four. Didn't have to do
Working
all
full
high
time.
flying and all that. But I mean, I'd rather see somebody take that slower pace than somebody sit there and hit somebody 10 times, supposedly with a closed fist, and the guy doesn't even sell it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I mean, come on.
they work that in though. Like at the at All Out when they had the tag match. What's his name? The bigger dude in the Acclaimed. He's coming off a knee injury, and Swerve in Our Glory. They sat there and worked his leg, his injured knee, pretty much an entire match. That's all they did. They just put him in a single leg crab, or they just jump on that knee. I mean, they spent the entire match pretty much working that knee, and really they did a good job with it. But they did such a good job with it that it turned them heel.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good match.
Probably
Timmy, I don't know about that, but sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I don't remember back. I know you're about to comment on it, Paul, and you know better than me. But is this not the match, Paul, that ended up in the road rage thing where they got in the tractor trailer, and wasn't that what ended this whole thing?
No, that was Dustin and the Blacktop Bully. Barry Darso, aka the Repo Man, aka Crusher Darso, aka Smash of Demolition. What he's talking about, I think, is when Ronnie Garvin interfered in the Barry Windham Dusty Rhodes match and knocked Dusty Rhodes out, and Barry Windham slapped the claw hold on him, which
wasn't it Harley that put
I
the
could
bounty
be wrong.
on? Wasn't it Harley that had the bounty?
I don't know, but I know Ronnie Garvin was buddy with Gary Hart after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't see stuff like that anymore, and that's good storytelling. Again, yeah, but Dylan, you mentioned that the Acclaimed match.
Yeah, the Acclaimed Swerve in Our Glory. That was probably the best match of All Out.
Swerve has changed me. I was less excited about Swerve Strickland than I was with old Bearcat Lee.
Yeah.
I
like Swerve. When he first came in, he's a very different style of wrestling than anybody else around. He does some stuff that kind of comes off as a little silly, I guess, with little somersaults and everything. But then
he's not a trampoline wrestler though.
And it's not bad.
He's still technical.
Yeah, and he's tall, but he's a smaller guy and pretty strong dude. And he'll slam people all over the place, but they put on some good stuff, and that match with the Acclaim don't get the credit they deserve for how good wrestlers they are. I mean, they're good entertainers. You know, everybody loves the Acclaim, but they can go. I mean, they put on some good matches, and they're going to at Dynamite this week. They're having the Acclaim and Swerve in Our Glory 2 for the championship again. I'm excited for that.
You got to give a hats off to Anthony Bowen.
Yeah,
because the last wrestler that was out like Anthony Bowen is out was I can't remember the guy's name, but he was part of the primetime players in WWE back in 14-15, and he tried to make that his entire identity, you know. And Bowen, I mean, it shouldn't matter. But there have been wrestlers of alternate lifestyles of all shapes, sizes, and kinds for years. They're all oddballs. They all have odd things.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, and Anthony Bowen, you know, he proves himself in the ring. That's not what defines him and his work, and I appreciate that about him. I mean, he does.
He's a good wrestler. The Acclaimed is a good tag team. I think they deserve a title run. I'd like to see them win it.
Scissor me, Dylan.
Yeah.
Scissor me.
I like when the old Billy Gunn up there. They scissor me, daddy ass.
Daddy ass.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's and I'm interested to see. So this is another thing. So we were talking about earlier about how this could or could not be a work. This whole thing with the guys dropping the belts and all that kind of stuff, right? Chris Jericho made a comment 4 weeks ago. He said, guys, I want y'all to continue to watch AEW. He said, by the end of this year, it's going to be the best wrestling that's ever been on TV. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement for Jericho to make. That's a very bold statement, but you know,
I think he knew he was
are we
winning the
seeing
title.
beginning of that? I don't know. I mean, it could just be him trying to put it over because he's the highest paid guy in the company. I don't know, but
Thing is, though, is that
He must
I
mean
don't
recently.
yeah, I mean,
miss that extra point.
current wrestling fans, you know, they probably only remember back. I mean, the target age group is me, so you know, like 96 was
So
my
just
days.
me and Lovey are just old. Okay, I got you.
We are.
No, but I had to do a case study in school. I didn't have to, but this is what I picked. I picked the WWE Network and how they were marketing
I love
WWE
that.
Network. And you know, their target demo is actually below the age of 20. They're trying to get more of those people to watch. But the demographic that continues to watch week after week is age 30 to 46.
Yeah.
I love because the network gave us what we wanted for $10 a month. We go back and watch old stuff.
Yeah, and you can still watch it on Peacock, but it's so hard to find. The WWE Network, I could go in, Stan Hansen, and anything that they had in that library would come up as Stan Hansen, and it would just be a clip of a certain match. I wouldn't have to go through and fast forward through the stuff I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
I got a quick question. I'm just curious. Have you ever heard of West Texas State University?
That is where, I have heard of that, and I can't.
Okay.
Who was
it's in Amarillo. The Funks, Tito Santana, Tully Blanchard.
Yep.
Stan Hansen.
They were a powerhouse.
Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Dusty
they
Rhodes.
They were right there with SMU, right? And didn't they get the death sentence and they couldn't recover, but SMU did, wasn't that?
No, I don't know about that. But I know A&M took them over.
That's what it was. Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of A&M, they lost to Appalachian State today.
I picked that on Griswold's thing he's got going on Yahoo. I picked App State. I love me some App State.
I do too. I like App State. Yeah.
Man,
I'm be honest. I'm a bandwagoner. When they went to the big house,
bed in Boone right now.
Oh yeah, their couches are on fire in Boone.
But
last week was tough. Sorry,
is North Carolina pretty good? I mean, are they actually?
Yes.
No, they play in the ACC.
North Carolina might actually be a competitor.
No, they play in the
ACC.
Good.
They almost lost again today.
Nah, ACC's weak.
It don't matter if you almost lose.
Yeah, it does. North Carolina
as long as you win.
North Carolina's one of them teams gets hopped up every year because they look good in the ACC, and then they play one team from the SEC and they get blown out.
Everybody in the ACC
everybody looks good until they play somebody from a real conference.
Hey, how about your Hogs today, Paul?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm a Longhorns fan, but I like Sam Pittman. No, I root for North Carolina because North Carolina's got the classiest head coach in the game today.
I like North Carolina too. It's nothing
Mr. Mac Brown.
I like North Carolina as an underdog team, but
and App State, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I've been a fan of theirs since was it 09?
That's where you remember Logan said it all, Daddy?
Yeah.
That's where he went to school.
App State.
Yeah.
When they went to the big house and upset Michigan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But they were good before that because they won like 3 of their division national championships in a row.
Notre Dame went down to Marshall today.
Yeah, they got us on.
Hey, Lovey, you still with us, bud?
Baylor's looking like they may lose to BYU right here. They finally put points on the board and they missed their extra point. It's 6-3 right now, Baylor. But
we missed a field goal going into halftime,
and we lost Lovey. Lovey got mad and went home when you started talking about
we transitioned to college football.
There he is. Well, hey guys,
I guess I'm gonna have to order me another cord. I think it's a cord or it's my cam link is messing up. I'm gonna have to buy a new one. I don't know. It's blinking every so often. I don't know.
Are you going through OBS or are you just going straight to the camera?
I'm going through a I got a Sony camcorder, believe it or not. I think it's AX, but I'm going from it straight into my Cam Link into my computer.
So you're using like a virtual, it's like a virtual camera software kind of
Yeah.
setup. Yeah.
I got a phone.
I don't know.
Well,
if it kicks me out again, I'll just be gone, I guess. Cause I don't know.
That's what I was about to say. I'm going to give you the solo layout so you can talk about what you got going on this week and promote your channel a little bit. That way I can give you some time here. So love you.
And I took up for your Tar Heels, Lovey.
Being here.
I heard you. You took up for my Appalachian State too, which Dino Hackett.
Love them.
Dino Hackett played for Appalachian State and played for Kansas City. But yeah, Lovey's Fat Life. We come on Thursday nights, and there's some kind of murder mystery stuff going on here, I guess. But yeah, we just love food and travel, cruising mostly, Smoky Mountains, anywhere we can go with our son. And food part, we kind of moved that more over to Carolina Blue Smoke Barbecue. We're going to try to put more videos out on that channel. But we just enjoy having life, having a good time. We try to go live on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock. And that's about it. We're just average people, average country people from North Carolina. And I'm ready for basketball season already.
Oh, basketball.
Yeah.
Love it. NCAA tournament, greatest gift to the planet right there.
Yeah, I remember back in the day bringing the rolling the TVs in to watch the basketball tournament here in Greensboro that used to be going on all the time.
Yeah.
Josh,
if your football team ain't worth no count, then you got to watch. You got to watch basketball.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, UNC, a basketball school that also has a football team.
Yeah,
we got a pretty good women's soccer program too. And
hey, you got so your wrestling team is not bad, and you've got Caden McCrary up there. So Caden McCrary is one of the kids that Dustin used to run around with a lot when we were wrestling. He's a 4-time Georgia State champion. And, I mean, there were a lot of schools after him, and he chose UNC because he loves y'all's coach. So you probably have a national champion on your hands, collegiate wrestler, at least for a couple of years there. He'll definitely be an All-American.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lovey, don't feel bad because, Arkansas has probably got more national championships than any college if you count track.
Yeah.
Just saying.
We had a guy here locally that went to Mount Tabor High School probably 4 or 5 years ago that went out to Arkansas and made the Olympic team as well. I can't remember his name, but he was a local guy here 4 or 5 miles from where I live. But yeah.
So, Dylan, I would ask you what you got going on, but it sounds like you are on ready standby for an exercise.
Yeah, we got a busy week ahead of us. So I may not be able to participate in next week's.
Next week, there will be no vlog. So just so everybody knows, there will be no WWV next week because Chastity and we are going to celebrate our 23rd anniversary, and we are going to shut down. So
yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to.
Paul, if you want to run it, I will gladly hand over.
No.
I have complete.
I got a phone, ladies and gentlemen. I have a cell phone. There's no laptop. There's no camcorder running another. So if I'm a mod on any of y'all's channels and I'm not throwing out links for everybody and all that, I have a cell phone. That's how I get.
Hey, but you're not having any issues with your camera.
True.
Every time I try to get fancy, so like I was doing, I think I was doing the WWV the other night when I was in Alaska, and it was my first time playing with the OBS software, and I had this nice layout and everything. Man, black screen. I thought I was doing the right thing. I actually had no idea what I was doing. And then I ran it during our thing with the funnel heads where the creator showcase, which it looked good when we were in this format. But then when I went to solo layout, it was all blurry because I'd had it zoomed in. And so I called Greg. I was like, man, I need some help. I don't know what I thought I had this figured out. I mean, I'm a pretty technical guy. I mean, I do engineering work, but I can't run OBS software to save my life. So I just stay away from it.
You know what it is.
What's that? What is it? Oh, at least I know what it is.
I said, you keep saying that OBS. I don't even know what you're talking about.
So what I can do is I can put a virtual overlay over my camera, and I can put like I can put things over the camera like latest subscriber. I can do all those cool little animations during the live, and I can make fart noises like Lovey makes. But,
Yeah, y'all get my old wore out motorhome here. That's what y'all get from me.
But hey, I appreciate y'all coming on. I'm going to go ahead and drop y'all out so y'all can get on with your day. Love you. I greatly appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming on.
Appreciate
Definitely
it,
want to
guys.
have you on again. This is what we do. I mean, we don't, no expectation of anybody to go and sit and take notes or any of that kind of stuff. It's just us hanging out, talking wrestling. This is the format we use every time, and what happens happens. Sometimes it's great YouTube, sometimes it's not. But we're not doing this thing. This is therapeutic for us, really.
I hear you.
Hey, you didn't let me promote my channel, man.
Oh shoot!
I'm just
here.
kidding.
I'm gonna give you the screen. No, I want you to.
Oh gosh.
Here you go. This is for Meg. Hello, Meg.
Hello, Miss.
Hello,
Meg.
darling.
Hello, darling. Got the booze news coming up tomorrow. We're going to start our first installment of the royalty edition of the booze news, and then we got the Ray Parade coming up next Friday. And Lovey, I'm with you when it starts cooling off. I'm gonna break out my little rink-a-dink smoker and start cooking more with it, because this Arkansas heat, man, it has me dropping Samuel L. Jackson quotes, and yeah. So, but I'm gonna start doing some more with my smoker and incorporating that with stuff, cooked inside and all. And that's about it. I was just kidding about that though, Josh. Seriously.
No. I mean, that's half of the battle of this thing is, when people go back and replay and watch and whatever, I want you guys, us, we're all about promoting the community, and we want the community to grow, because if the community grows, we all grow. But as we're zoomed in here, Paul,
Oh
and I want to
gosh.
stay zoomed in on you for a little bit longer for Miss Meg's benefit. I mean, how many buttons down are you there, son? I mean, I called you son, and you're older than me, but no,
Sorry.
don't button them up now. Don't button them up. Miss Meg wants to see it.
I didn't pay no attention to that.
you was letting the manliness fly, buddy. I got to give you a hard time. But all right, I'm gonna bring y'all down. We're gonna close this thing out. Appreciate everybody.
I vote we
Thank
bring Lovey back once a month, at least.
Yeah, I know. I agree. This is something that we need. I didn't know how much interest we'd have. I'd also like to have Josh Hallstead come on. I know he would enjoy this kind of talk as well.
Primed him up the other day on Messenger. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You know wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch a lot of the new stuff. I'm like, big deal. I don't either. You got knowledge.
I mean, that's not.
You can talk.
We talk more. I said at the beginning that I'm a fan of shooting and professional wrestling. There's not a whole lot of professional wrestling going on nowadays, so we have to talk about old stuff. And it's been great because Dylan's went back. We mentioned going back and watching the dog collar match, and he went back and watched it. And some of these folks don't know. Some of these younger guys don't know how much good stuff is out there from the old days. But
yes, sir.
I appreciate you, Paul. Thank y'all so much. So, hey guys, we were a crew member short this week because Captain Billy J is cruising out in the morning. So he had left out. He was in Orlando yesterday. He's in Miami tonight. He sails out tomorrow on the BBD Rum Run. And we all know that Captain Billy J loves him some BBD, so he's going to go get him some. He will be back, though, soon. But next week, as I said before, I'll be out, and so will Billy J. And if Paul wanted to take the reins, he's more than welcome to. If Dylan wanted to take the reins, he's more than welcome to. But I think most likely we will probably not have a show next week, and we will come back. Let me pull the old calendar up here. Looks like we should be back online. Probably we'll call it 1 October. 1 October will be our first time back up. So, but thank y'all so much for coming in. We really appreciate that you folks will come in, hang out, listen to us talk about old school wrestling because we love it. For the Moonlight Adventures, next thing we have up is tomorrow we have Shootin the Breeze with Moonlight Adventures at 8 o'clock. We have some special stuff to talk about as we're getting ready to go on our cruise, Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas. It's going to be our first Royal cruise. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to. And we're going to ask you guys some questions that have been on a Royal ship. as to what we need to be looking out for and what we need to try and enjoy while we're there. In addition to that, the next thing that will come up is on Tuesday, we will be releasing a video. So we're going to start trying to release our vlogs on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So on Tuesday, we will release the Denali Park, the overall Denali National Park video. And then on Wednesday, Ron Bourbon will be back. And we've got a lot of news to talk about with Ron Bourbon, one of which was one of the things that Lovey brought up with Miss Michelle. She is going to start her true crime podcast or true crime vlog on YouTube that has to do, and I may be saying too much here, I hope not, but it's going to have to do with murders at sea. So that's going to be kind of cool. Pretty excited about that. And then that will be it for us after that. And we probably, let's see here. Let me pull the old trusty calendar back up, and Chastity will holler at me if I'm wrong, and we'll correct this tomorrow night if I'm wrong. But I believe Shootin the Breeze after this week's episode, I don't think we will be back on until the 25th with Shootin the Breeze. But we will definitely pretty much unplug while we're out on the cruise. We'll have some live streams that we'll do from the cruise, but not a whole lot because we'll be out there filming. But appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the continued support. I hope you all continue to have a great weekend. Hope you have a blessed weekend. Hope you just continue to be showered with blessings. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Have a good one. Go check out our panel members and anyone who was shared in the message in the chat. Thank you guys so much. World Wrestling Vlog out.